Hey, what's going down, everybody in the WCC world? That's right, not the WWE universe, but more the WCC world. Tonight, my guest, as always, two-time WCC champion, season number 2, White West. Also from Ohio, the one and only Mr. Shaun Jones. And, of course, rookie for season number 4. That's right, Mr. Brandon DOOLIN. Gentlemen, let's start it off with the Roundtable. We got the 1000th show coming up. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts for the 1,000 episode. It's going to be interesting. I will say this. I mean, you got a lot of legendary superstars climbing back in the ring to tell us on their mind, or even some of them are actually coming back to ask for a match. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen, and it's going to be 3 hours.
3 hours. 3 hours.
It's going to be very interesting.
3 long hours. Brandon DOOLIN.
I pretty much agree. I don't really care for the wedding, and from reports that I've read, although more than likely they may not be true, but from reports that I've read, the third hour is apparently going to be mostly social media oriented or something like that, which I hope it isn't. It'll still be interesting because a lot of the legends will be there, and while they're not 2 of my favorite wrestlers of all time, they are 2 men that I do have a lot of respect for, Triple H and Shawn Michaels. And I'm also hoping to see Road Dogg there at least, if not him and Billy Gunn. I am interested to see what happens with Cena and Punk, because if Cena loses, I'm actually thinking even if Cena loses, he's probably going to get another shot at SummerSlam anyway, because you know how they are with Cena.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I mean,
not to cut you off, Brandon, but White West, what do you think about the reunion?
I think the reunion going to get interrupted by Brock Lesnar. I think Brock Lesnar going to bash Shawn Michaels, and Triple H is going to add more fuel to the fire between him and Triple H. And with Triple H today, and Triple H going to get back because he beat up Shawn Michaels. And then I feel like on the 1000th episode, they trying to do too much because they got Brock Lesnar and Triple H, DX reunion. They got to announce the new GM. They doing a wedding. You still got the legends going to talk. And then you got CM Punk versus Cena. And, you got to put this all in 3 hours. And I think the Big Show's going to screw John Cena at the end. I think he'll come out there and give him the big punch. And they're going to do a triple threat at SummerSlam with the 3 of them.
Now we're talking about the whole 1000 show coming up and stuff, and this is for all you guys out there. I mean, 3 hours? Are we guys? I mean, I know we've been talking about this prior to other shows, but I mean, seriously, guys, are we ready for a 3-hour show?
2 things I'm going to say about it. One, I mean, they're kind of running the risk of kind of shooting themselves in the foot with the 3 hours like WCW did. And second of all, even if I loved the current WWE product, even if I absolutely loved it, I personally think that 3 hours should be saved for special occasions anyway, and certainly with the crappy in my opinion, the crappy product that we have now. So that's
right.
What I'm saying.
Yeah,
I feel the same way. I feel like if you're going to go 3 hours, now you got to compete with other shows that came on at 7 o'clock that you weren't competing with at 8. That might give you a run for your money at that first hour. And then, you know what I'm saying, like you said, 3 hours is supposed to be special shows. So what now? If you have a special show, you going to do a 4-hour show?
That's a good point.
And see, with doing a 3-hour episode, I mean, I totally agree with the table. I mean, I feel like you're kind of crossing that line. I mean, I don't know if it's trying to put out more superstars, give them more TV time, or if you're just running out of ideas, or you have too much ideas for so much for the pay-per-views. But there's just too much to do. I mean, with 3 hours, what are you going to do? And right. It should be for special occasions. It's only for pay-per-view only. That's how I feel.
I mean, do you guys honestly think that 3 hours will last for a whole complete year, or are they going to cut it off soon? Like, this is just going to be something temporary while football season is just around the corner. I mean, that's their one competition coming up, and
that's a good point, El, which is why I think, which I think we all agree it's a bad idea for the reasons we listed and the fact that you just talked about football season coming up. I'm sorry. Nothing's topping football.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Myself, too.
You got football season coming up, and then, you know what I'm saying, you got to be with these reality shows, too. Like, it's a lot of competition at 7 o'clock. When they had the 8 o'clock hour, it was like, okay, you know, Monday Night Football is being played into already, so the game is already, you know, you can flip back and forth. And then, like, man, like I said, 3 hours is doing too much. Like, if you are you really going to have enough material? For the 1,000 episodes, they got enough material for 3 hours, but you're going to have that much stuff for, like, the next year at least.
I mean, are you guys ready for the first hour of pure promos? Because that's what it seems like it's going to go at.
Exactly.
I mean, everybody's aiming in that point where it's going to be that first hour is just going to be nothing but promos, but at the end it's like, okay, now you got 2 hours of wrestling. It's like, didn't we just have that like a week ago, you know?
I think they're going to do, like, the first hour probably going to be promos, but it's probably going to be, like, people who don't get a lot of TV time. Like, you'll probably see more Primo Escobar, the Prime Top players. That's why when Ryback will have his matches, you know, trying to push other superstars in that hour that they really don't show. Then the next 2 hours will be the main eventers. And then, I don't know. That's the only way I can see them doing it. Like, any other way, like, you just going to do pure talking that first hour, then, man, you might as well stay 2 hours.
Exactly. Go ahead, Sean. I forgot. I cut you off right there.
Well, you know, I'm just sitting back and I'm actually thinking about it, you know, as a story writer and as a, you know, a person that actually, I mean, watch wrestling. I mean, we're all wrestling fans. I'm actually thinking about, like, well, is Vince McMahon going to get rid of NXT? Is this the reason why he's adding 3 hours? Because is he going to get rid of NXT, or is he just trying to prove that, you know, WWE is still the top dog in some ratings, you know, going up against, like you said, football, some of the prime time TV. Is this what he wants to do, like, forever? I mean, I don't see it lasting, you know, I see it lasting maybe 6 months and it's going back to 2 hours. I mean, USA and the Sci-Fi Network, I don't know if they're dishing out money to him. But, I mean, it's great for him because he'll get more money, and the ratings may go up or down depending on however the business booms. Because, you know, you got some of those guys who are like, well, I'll sit back and watch wrestling. Or you got guys that sit back and say, I can only take so much. You know, I love wrestling. I love wrestling, you know, with all my heart. But to this extent for 3 hours, you know, one has to question, is he going to lose business or he's going to gain more attention? So, right. I mean, I feel good that if it's 3 hours to showcase more superstars, I'm down for it. But if it's just going to be more talk than wrestling, I feel that the ratings are going to go down, and I fear the most for WWE as a whole.
Right, same here. I mean,
what the USA Network is thinking by letting them go 3 hours? Like, what made them even do that? Like, they love WWE. I mean, when they lost Raw, they did get them back because I know they needed Raw, but, like, is they really that serious? Like, do Vince McMahon have that much control over your network where he can be like, well, I just want to go to 3 hours, and y'all just be like, okay, 1,000 episodes, you go to 3 hours, and you keep going 3 hours as long as you want. That's how, the U.S. network just went.
I mean, not to cut you off or anything, but people always forget that WWE actually owns that 4 hour block. They own the hour that goes ahead of them and the hour that goes behind them. If you ever notice and pay attention, it's always something boring that comes on before and after them. I don't know if you guys ever pay attention to that. It's not the actual USA programming, but think about it. I mean, the first hour that goes on before Raw, it's fucking Law and Order out here in California. And then in the last hour, you get some boring-ass movie who nobody's going to watch, or one of those pathetic shows like Psych, and, you know.
Here before in Milwaukee, it'd be Law and Order. Then after it, it'd be Unnecessary Roughness. But if you look like on your cable guide, Raw always goes to 10:15. Like
Exactly.
It goes right into that next hour. It goes right into 10:15. It don't stop right at 10 o'clock. You go right into 10:15.
Exactly. Same here. I mean, and I don't know about you guys out there, but out here it's like, let's say if I was a fan to these shows like Necessary Roughness or Psych, it doesn't start at the beginning of the show. It jumps right immediately into whatever's next, and it's like, what the hell am I watching? Like what? Like that's why some of those shows they're boring. I'm not gonna lie, they're fucking boring, and it's like, okay, it's time to switch the channel now.
I ain't never watched Necessary Roughness. Law and Order is all right, depending on what Law and Order it is. But I wouldn't sit there and watch Law and Order before it was wrestling. Like I never did.
Yeah. Well, let's take it up a notch. Main event time for supposedly could be the main event for the show. We got CM Punk and John Cena. John Cena's about to cash in his Money in the Bank. And for those of you people who haven't been paying attention to wrestling and been sleeping under a rock, yes, John did Money in the Bank. I got Money in the Bank last Sunday. Guys, seriously, are we going to see the first guy to lose the briefcase? I mean, I'm going to tell you guys straight up right now, I think Cena will lose because this, like, let me do my promo and let me do this and let me do that, and it's like, okay, let me make it into a bigger deal. I'm gonna do this at the 1000th show. It's like, it's looking for disaster. But that is WWE. They let you, they leave you with suspense. I mean, what do you guys think about that? I mean, I seriously am calling it right now. I will say Cena will lose against Punk. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Cena will lose. Cena will lose. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, Cena will lose. I feel that he's going to lose. I mean, it's about time the Golden Boy takes a long vacation, and I think CM Punk is the best choice to do that.
Right. I mean, do you honestly think, like, this match will go a full 15 minutes since we are in a 3-hour show now, or is this going to be a quick 5-minute match?
I don't think so.
I mean, it's Cena Punk, so it's got to go at least 15 minutes. Like,
probably.
But that's probably what it's going to go, like 15 minutes. Like, my personal opinion is the Big Show going to interfere, and that's how the match is going to end. Like, the Big Show has to interfere because he's part of the triangle.
Right.
He wanted Cena to go in the bad way, and he doesn't like John Cena. So, what better way for him to ruin John Cena but to come out there in the match and catch John Cena with the big punch, John Cena loses. Because if he hits CM Punk, Cena's not going to win like that.
In a way, to me, it's essentially going to be like how Rob Van Dam was at One Night Stand. Y'all remember this might seem the same way, except this time the person who cashed in the briefcase isn't going to win. Because that's what this kind of seems like. Because like Van Dam, he cashes in an actual fair fight instead of doing it sneaking in. But this time, and like at One Night Stand, just like how Edge did that night, Big Show, or some are even saying The Rock will come in and interfere, but this time it'll be the Money in the Bank winner who loses.
Right.
And to be honest, I'm starting to think it's not going to matter if he loses or not, because he's probably still going to get another title match at SummerSlam anyway. The way they are with him, because they've been over backwards for him.
They're going to have Big Show interfere, and then with the Big Show interference, that's how they're going to set it up to where it can be a triple threat.
Probably.
The Big Show going to come out like, man, I should get a title shot too. Ooh. They're going to set up for a triple threat, and then they'll get Cena's rematch. I still think CM Punk will win. Like, I don't feel that CM Punk has no business losing the WWE Championship unless it's going to be to somebody he's never fought before. Like, he's beating everybody. So, like, he's going to lose to somebody. I don't want to lose it to Big Show, but that's the only possible person that he hasn't fought that he could lose it to. Because I know, like...
You mean like his entire career that he hasn't fought yet?
I'm talking about, like, while he's been champion.
Oh, okay. All right. You're right about that.
Yeah, I'm not talking about his career, but, like, as far as he's been champion, like, that's the only really person they have in the main event he hasn't fought. I can't really think of nobody else unless you go... Sheamus world champion, not going to have to fight Sheamus, so I don't know who you can have him fight. If you,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
That's a very good question.
my thing is that I look at the WWE title, but I don't know if he's gonna do that either.
Right.
I have so many thoughts on if Cena does win the belt. I mean, or how he could get screwed out of it. But no one really thinks about,
Oh, hold on, Sean. Sean, hold up real quick. Let me interrupt you real quick. Now, coming from a great mind, I mean, you personally told me that you're a writer. Let me put you on the spot real quick. How are you going to write Cena to become champion on this one? And how are you going to write Cena to not become champion on this one?
Well, I would write Cena how to become champion is actually go through it, be a dog at war, fight CM Punk for about 15 minutes and win it, unless you have someone with some bitterness, say Wade Barrett comes out, destroys CM Punk. Cena doesn't know. Cena goes for the win.
Right.
Or just a straight out victory for Cena, like we always see him as Superman, so to quote unquote. And my way for him to not to win is have something twisted happen. Instead of Big Show, a lot of people forget that before Cena got another WWE title shot like last time, he won it over Rey Mysterio. I say Rey Mysterio turns heel and screws Cena out of getting the WWE title. And not Big Show.
Go ahead, Brendan.
No, and he actually brings up some good point. Well, actually, no. Didn't he get his rematch? He didn't get his rematch the very next week after he lost the belt to Cena, but didn't he get it against Del Rio after Del Rio won it inside, I believe, Del Rio, didn't Cena get it, sorry, I mixed up my words. Didn't Ray get his title rematch after SummerSlam against Del Rio, though? And that's the last time he was on Raw before he came back this past Monday, though, because I thought he'd already gotten his title shot or his rematch.
No, he didn't. But I mean, I believe he did get a title shot against Rio. But I feel that Ray was embarrassed, and that's why I say there's some bitterness that
he only held it for an hour or so.
Yeah, and Ray was already beaten down, and John Cena should have said the same thing that he said to CM Punk. Hey, I'm not going to face you. I'll give you a week to refresh yourself, and then we go to war. And that's why I'm like, well, you know what? Big Show is both parts of SmackDown and Raw, so. But Ray
it seems
is
like
still
everybody
part of Raw.
is, to be honest.
Yeah.
The way they're doing it.
But the way I see it, if they're not going to let Cena turn heel, why not have somebody unexpected turn heel? I mean, we all
Ray
kind of
pull it off though, because I don't think he's ever been heel, has he?
He hasn't been heel since WCW days. But yeah, you see how I tried to play it up. But no, he hasn't. But I feel like it's time for another group. So to say, I mean,
is this sort of like Jeff Hardy in a way, where you would never think of him as a heel, but then
because with Jeff Hardy, he had power, and he had Hogan and Bischoff and a ton of others. My thing is Ray. It'll be perfect for Ray and a perfect time to show that Ray is no longer the underdog, the so helpless Mask Avenger.
All right.
Yeah, it may hurt WWE. It may hurt WWE in the pockets because of kid friendly. Kids love the mask and stuff and merchandising, but it's time for adults. People who love wrestling to see something unexpected happen. And I feel like Ray would. Yeah. Like, okay, Ray's gonna be a badass. So I feel that Ray could go over, screw Cena, don't get a title match and say, hey man, you screw me. Why you give CM Punk a fair chance of refreshing? I feel like crap. You won Money in the Bank. That's great, but homie, look, I lost, and didn't even get no type of refresh up.
If I may ask this next point, what would this mean for Del Rio then? Because what would that mean for Del Rio then? Since it seems like he was going to be feuding with Ray. If we're gonna go down your road, we're gonna go down that path. Then what would that mean for Del Rio? I don't know if they put him in
with Sheamus. He would still feud with Sheamus. He would, he would still feud with Sheamus and trying to get that World Heavyweight Champion that he has the destiny for.
Yes. Plus, you're forgetting one thing. Rey Mysterio is always that one dude who just jumps around from opponent to opponent. I mean, it could be like just a quick little feud, just a quick little rundown. He's always one of those guys who just gets bounced around, just like Kane. I mean, Kane's always
sort of like when he was feuding with Swagger, then feuding with Kane, and then feuding with Del Rio. All within like very short range.
I mean, not to bust anybody's bubble or anything. I mean, you got to remember one thing too. Sometimes, I mean, just because two people start arguing, it doesn't really consider a feud. It's just something where, I mean, they just consider it as a quick little feud, I guess you would say. But I mean,
kind of a little skirmish.
Yeah. I mean, basically, yeah. But other than that, guys, I mean, we're also forgetting about one little thing, and we also got the biggest party of the summer coming down August 19th, SummerSlam here in Los Angeles, California. The biggest match so far being promoted is Brock Lesnar versus Triple H. What do you guys really think about what's going to happen with that? I mean, so far Triple H and Lesnar just been talking, and it's like, okay, what's next?
And several promos and one broken arm later, where are we going to be this coming Monday?
Exactly.
And probably, and after Monday night, it's going to be several promos, one broken arm, and one best friend, and one injured best friend later.
Injured best friend? What are you talking about?
He's going to attack Shawn. That's
you
what
think?
That's what I was heading to. I don't know, because I think he probably might just to maybe fuel the fire if you think about it.
Right.
Now I don't know if I don't know if it'd be 100% sure that it happened, but I could see it happening. I mean, it would make sense considering this whole thing with Triple H. I mean, you already broke his arm. Now you now you go after his friend. It does make more build up here.
Right.
Because if you just have Brock say yes to the challenge, I don't know. Maybe there might be a little something missing since Brock likes to attack people all the time.
Right.
I mean, if he's going to attack if he's just going to attack people for no reason, like what was his name that he attacked what was it, Josh Matthews that he attacked for basically no reason. If he's going to attack him for no reason, I don't know why he wouldn't attack Shawn just to send a message to the game. I mean, he does what he wants when he wants. So I could see it happening, but then again, they may decide not
to. Okay. Let's go back to our writer. Shaun, do you have Lesnar beat up Shawn Michaels this Monday night, or do you wait for Shawn Michaels appreciation night coming soon, I think in a week after that?
Yeah, that would be the better beneficial to add to the fire is having Brock attack Shawn on his appreciation night in his hometown. In Shawn Michaels' hometown, I would have him do that instead of breaking the DX reunion, quote unquote, everybody reunion. But my thing is, I think Brock will actually show up on by Viva Satellite.
Right.
He'll send a message saying, "Hey, Triple H, I accept, but hey, guess what? I'm going to send a message to you next week. I'm going to give you my message, and I think you'll take my message very seriously.
Not bad. Now, should we be expecting a world-famous contract signing?
No. I think what happened is Mr. Paul Heyman will come out and he say, on behalf of Brock Lesnar, I will sign his documents, giving me the full authorization to sign for him for your match. And if you put your hands on me, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, you instantly lose the match.
Right. You want to add to that, Brandon?
No, those are all perfect points. I'd actually forgotten about the appreciation night in San Antonio. I actually forgot about that, so he made a better point than I did. I can't really argue with any of the points he made. They're all right on the money.
What you think about that, Wes?
What you say?
I said, what you think about that? Shawn Michaels getting attacked Monday night or appreciation night?
Monday night. And
how so?
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me if DS came out and they made fun of Brock Lesnar. That could lead to the attack. They brought a midget Brock Lesnar out. Didn't nobody ever look at it at that angle. Brock Lesnar, if they made fun of Brock Lesnar while they cut their promo. There's a possibility it could happen. And then that could take Brock Lesnar off. Then that could lead to him attacking the Shawn Michaels later on that night after the promo, because he might not come right out at the beginning of the night. They might come out, make their promo about him, Shawn Michaels be in the back somewhere, Brock attack him, then Brock come out, do his promo, and him and Triple H come out.
That sounds about right.
That sounds bad either.
All right. Well, since we're thinking about opponents and thinking about who's getting jumped here and there, let's take it back another notch. This part of the SummerSlam. We also got Sheamus. Now, this is a little tough, you guys. Do you have Sheamus go up against Dolph and have Dolph cash in Money in the Bank at SummerSlam? Or who would be Sheamus' next opponent at SummerSlam? And why?
I would hate for it to be a four-way, or three-way or four-way, but it may shape up to be like that, or even if they have another battle royal.
Right.
Sheamus has been doing a great job of holding that title, and he's a champion that SmackDown would need. But having Dolph cash it in, I say nay. He wouldn't have to. I would think not to cash it in, or even have Dolph in a match with Sheamus, but just kind of lay back, let Sheamus do all the work and wear him out.
Right. DOOLIN?
And he brings up some good points. Do you guys also maybe letting Dolph kind of do what Del Rio did you remember how Dolph has been trying to cash it in, but he's been getting thwarted every opportunity, sort of like how Del Rio did last year before SummerSlam. I think maybe they could do that for Ziggler, maybe not. Unless Randy Orton comes back as a heel and faces Sheamus for the belt, I don't know who they'll have to face. Because it seems like, I don't know if they're going to suddenly tie, because Ray and Del Rio look like they're going to feud again, and from what it looks like, they may just have him go one-on-one at SummerSlam. I don't know. Or they may tie him, or they may pretty much do what they did at TLC 2 years ago, and instead of having them in just their own match, they tie both of them into the world title match, something like that. Or, I'm really not sure about this idea, or they may pretty much do what they did at Over the Limit, but instead of Jericho, it's Ray as the fourth man. So I don't know, because I don't know.
I don't know where they're going with that. You know what?
I don't know where they can go. Other than maybe have Orton face him, I don't know where they can go.
You just brought up a good point right there.
Title match? Could they do that? Could they not just have a World Heavyweight title match?
Right, but the thing is, you guys, you guys kind of did forget about, you mentioned at the end doing, but what do you guys think about that too? Orton comes back and he's back in the title hunt, or are you going to have him job and wrestle anybody else. I mean,
I don't know
what's going on.
Somebody's job for me, or another angle they could go with the world title. What Wade Barrett come back tomorrow?
Exactly. That's another guy I was about to bring up right now too.
That is true. Maybe they may still have Barrett maybe they still may have Barrett beating Sheamus. I don't know. Because if you remember, before Barrett got injured, had Barrett either came back for this past Sunday, or had he not even gotten injured before WrestleMania in the first place, he would have already had that briefcase. Now, to say whether or not he would have been champion by now, he would have at least had that briefcase by now. So the whole reason, basically, that they decided to have another Money in the Bank pay-per-view instead of just keeping it at WrestleMania this year is because Barrett got injured. So I don't know. Maybe Barrett could be the next challenger, and maybe give him 2 world title matches against Sheamus, like the first one he loses, and maybe down the road he wins it. Because I mean, they have feuded before, but I don't know. That actually sounds like another good idea.
Right.
But that's if he comes back in time.
I mean, you agree with Sean what he said in the beginning. I mean, Sheamus became world champ. He's been handling that belt really, really well. Unfortunately, some of these injuries and stuff, and just it's like Sheamus is kind of like those little animals before they die. It's like looking back and forth, like, oh shit, am I next? Who's next? Oh wait, you're next? No, you're next. No, you're hurt. No, you're hurt too. Okay, you're next. No, you're boring. It's like, okay, next, and it's like seriously, like I mean, I'm glad we kind of talked about this. It's like seriously, like who do you give Sheamus at SummerSlam?
Who's saying he hasn't been anything? Maybe.
You know what's facing the same last couple of people like the last couple of months, like it's either Dolph or
You know what? And you know what's weird about this? I mean, you got people coming back. You got superstars who are ready to come back and face Sheamus, because Sheamus now, he's, like I said, he's been holding the championship for a long time and doing a good job at it. You got Randy Orton coming back, who might be still on a level. He might be champion material. You got Wade Barrett fresh coming back, and then you have a Hall of Pain, Mark Henry, who's losing weight and wants to come back to the WWE and still deliver pain.
Will he be fully recovered from his groin surgery, like the surgery that he had? Will he be fully recovered in time?
That
ain't nothing to play with.
Because if like, that's my only thing about Henry. Because if he comes back in time, you could maybe spin it to how remember how Sheamus first turned face in the first place? It was against Mark Henry when their match at SummerSlam last year. Maybe you could spin that and rekindle the rivalry if Henry comes back in time.
Right.
Hey, that's how Dolph could cash in, though, if you do it like that.
Probably.
Henry come out, beat Sheamus up at SummerSlam at the end of his world title match. And then Dolph comes out and cashes in on Sheamus.
Exactly. I mean, guys, let's talk about probably something that we never thought we would ever see. I mean, we actually had Tyson Kidd, believe it or not. Yes, I said it. Tyson Kidd was actually in a match. I mean, seriously, where are we going with this now? Tyson Kidd tried to get some fame, tried to get the pop, try to get that pop with the crowd. It wasn't really working. He was standing on top of the, the guardrails, trying to get the crowd behind him and stuff. It's like, all right, guys, like, where do we go with this now?
Does it come down to 2 words, charisma bypass?
Ooh. And
I'm actually pretty high on Tyson Kidd, but I'm not going to sit there and say he's out. He has no flaws.
Gee, I wonder why you like this guy. Is it because he's
dating
your girlfriend?
It's not.
Is it because he's dating your girlfriend?
We're not even bringing that up. I'm not bringing that up this time. I'm serious.
All right, go.
Even before that, even before I knew he was with her, even before that, I still remember the first time he made his debut on ECW back in 2008. I've seen this dude for a good number of years. He's got good stuff. However,
hold on.
Like I said,
hold on. By the way, in case you people are wondering, what the hell are they talking about? Doolin has a big old crush on Natalia, so yeah, continue.
Just like you have a crush on Rosa Mendez, but we don't talk about that nearly as much.
Anyways, good.
What's wrong with Natalia?
Anyway.
But go ahead.
I don't know. What do you guys think about it? About Tyson Kidd and maybe him trying to be relevant?
I got 2 words for Tyson Kidd. The reason why Tyson Kidd got a match because he's injury reserved. That's it. Certain people would have been injured. Tyson Kidd would have never touched that Money in the Bank pay-per-view. All he was a substitute. That's all he ever gonna be, unless he start doing like on Hart, and start teaming up with people and winning tag belts and establishing himself like that. So where WWE will push him in the main event, or take the Zack Ryder mode, take the Zack Ryder route, and try to get the fans behind you to force your way on TV.
I don't want him going the Zack Ryder route because he's going to be jobbing as much as him, which he probably will, which they may have him do anyway. But I think he's more talented than Ryder.
What about you, WCC head writer Shaun Jones?
Wow. Well, I mean, they actually nailed it right there. I mean, I feel that, with Tyson Kidd and Money in the Bank, the reason why he was in Money in the Bank was highlights only. Highlights only. Because, I mean...
Isn't that Sin Cara's job?
Supposed to be, but...
That and botching.
That too. But with Tyson Kidd being relevant now, I mean, I'm actually seeing something that only you can see in a video game. You got your jobber way down and just merging and merging. And just because he got a huge win over Albert Tensai, whatever you want to call him, it was great to see him do that. They actually see him on TV, on Raw TV. Do I see him being as a push as in be popular with the fans? Yeah, it'll last for 6 months. I hate to say it, but I mean, he's no Owen Hart, he's no William Regal, he's no Rey Mysterio, but at the same time, he'll give you a good show. He'll show you wrestling just like Daniel Bryan. But
right.
okay.
Speaking of Tyson Kidd, whatever happened to dude he used to be teamed with, David Hart?
David Hart Smith. I think he got released sometime last year. Soon after the Hart Dynasty split up, David Hart Smith actually got released like a month or two after that. Just like how Chris Masters, it was also the same time Chris Masters, Molina was still there until 2011 sometime. But it was around that time where he got released, and then a little while after that they released some other guys. So he didn't stay long after the Hart Dynasty broke up, which I personally thought was a stupid idea, breaking them up that soon. That's just me.
Well, at the time WWE wasn't booming with tag team. You saw them break up Prime Time, and you saw them break up the Hart Dynasty. They're not really good or even big.
And the Usos didn't really do. And then the Usos kind of didn't really do anything. They were the ones that eliminated the Hart Dynasty in the first place at Night of Champions, which made them lose the belts in the first place. The Usos haven't really done anything at all either. It's just, even when they do have tag teams, there's just something not there. Maybe there's just...
It's getting a little bit better, though, because
it is.
The Jobber tag team. You got Kofi and Truth are the tag champs. The primetime players there. You got Primo and Epico. So you got 4 teams right now.
All right.
Uno, Ko, and Camacho, they're okay. I think maybe they... And I've said this, I wouldn't... Now, there's probably be too many guys at once in a match at SummerSlam, but maybe have them be a 4-way tag, or maybe save that and maybe have some other teams in there for a tag team turmoil match Night of Champions, like how they did 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I got a question for y'all.
It's been a while.
Did y'all know that Money in the Bank, Big Show had won tag belts with everybody except Cena?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. You're right about that.
Yep,
That's a good point.
He's been champion with Kane. He's been champion with Jericho, even The Miz.
That's
Even
right.
Miz
Show Miz, Jericho. Remember when him and Kane were very dominant in 2005, 2006? I mean, you remember that when they held the belts all the way from Taboo Tuesday 2005 all the way to WrestleMania 2022? They were destroying everybody in their path. Like remember that four-way tag? Like one of the teams in a four-way tag that they had was like Tomko and Snitsky, and those are two big men, and even they couldn't do anything to Big Show and Kane. I mean, they were just tearing through everybody like they were tearing through everybody like it was nothing.
Exactly.
And then that other time where they were able to keep the belts for like a few, like for like a month or two during that time that WrestleMania was coming around. Because if you remember, that's when Kane turned face, when he teamed with the Big Show, and then they ended up defending the belts against Punk and Ryan, and they defended the belts against, I believe, Jackson and Barrett or something like that, and then they suddenly lost them to McGillicuddy of Tonga.
They got screwed though. The court interfered. Did somebody interfere?
It was Punk. I saw it with my own eyes. Punk interfered, and then I think it was like a double DDT on either Kane or Big Show, and that's how they got pinned. And I'm like, so of all the teams that beat them, you give it to these two? So no, you couldn't give it to Punk and Mason Ryan. You couldn't give it to Jackson and Barrett. You give it to these two.
Bravo.
I agree with you. That was a bad way.
All I'm saying.
Oh, man. So we got a crazy week coming up. We got the 1000th show. We got SummerSlam. We got Hardcore. We don't talk too much about TNA, but, you know how, I mean, some of you guys already know how I feel about TNA, but if you guys want to end the show with a quick comment about TNA, go ahead.
I haven't been able to see TNA because I have heard.
If you get somebody to sponsor them, that'd be better than WWE. Like just.
Oh, actually, yes. Chavo Guerrero. He has just.
I forgot about that.
I did hear about that.
Yeah, Chavo Guerrero will make his debut. This coming Thursday. Chavo Guerrero, the Warrior, the nephew of the late
Chavito.
Eddie Guerrero.
Rest in peace, Eddie.
You know, I'm actually excited. When I heard, well, it's like I knew that he was going to go to TNA, but when? My thing is that when I looked on my Facebook account, I'm like, Chavo? Yes, finally. We finally get somebody who has, I mean, don't get me wrong, everybody in TNA has wrestling ability, but to have this legacy behind him.
He's got a lot of experience, too.
Yeah,
and he's got a great family pedigree.
But here's my question to everybody. Do you think they're going to put him straight into the X Division, or are they going to put him in the heavyweight to actually give him a chance?
X Division.
They might start X Division first. They might do what WWE did, which is keep him in cruiserweight, and then he eventually became ECW champion. I think, and you know something? What do you guys would think about this? Do you guys think I personally would like to see his first opponent, believe it or not, to be Kid Cash. Personally.
Right. Well, check this out. Check this out, guys. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, good question, by the way, Sean. But my comment to that would be, you're looking at another Matt Hardy. I mean, they gave him a shot, and then he failed. So, yeah, don't be surprised if he'll be out by the end of the year.
He certainly came there earlier than I thought Morrison would. I thought Morrison was going to come in before him.
Right, me too. Actually, Morrison right now is playing hard to get. That's what it is.
Exactly. I may have to argue with you on that, El, because I wouldn't even call Chavo even close to Matt. You know, I really feel like, you know, he's not going to screw up like Matt. I mean, I'm sorry, but Matt Hardy. But, I mean, Chavo's not a drug.
He's not a drug overweight guy like Matt is, because apparently he's not going to be called Fatty Guerrero like Matt is, unfortunately.
Right, exactly. And it's just
I mean, like how Matt has slipped. He's slipped a lot, man.
He slipped. His brother slipped, and I don't see that with Chavo. I mean, Chavo could have been Chavo could have been something in WWE, but to where their writers and the creative staff
That whole feud with Hornswoggle, that's all you need to know.
Feuding with Hornswoggle. I mean, this guy was Cruiserweight champion for a reason. He was
right.
tag team champion for a reason. And it's just.
And here's another thing about him. Here's another thing about him. Before 2000, I believe it was before 2000, and I think it was before 2008 or so. Every single time he was at No Way Out, he either defended the Cruiserweight title or he became Cruiserweight champion. Think about that. That's some pretty good fortune to have at a pay-per-view. He had quite a few good resumes
too. I throw that in there too. He won the ECW.
He had a lot of good accolades. But then the whole thing with he goes from beating CM Punk to being ECW champion, which was arguably one of the bigger things for him. Now, with him and Kane at WrestleMania, at least that was against Kane. But then the whole feud with Hornswoggle just kills everything he had. And then they try to have him in a short thing with Sin Cara, which that didn't really come to fruition either. I mean, it's just the fact that they really buried him.
You know, to respond to your Sin Cara, I think he knew that he was going to leave WWE, and WWE wanted somebody who was in the luchador style and have him go up against Chavo just before he started blowing up and going to face, the face Sin Cara, which became later. I can't remember his name.
I'm a bit surprised that they didn't decide to turn Chavo face at all before he left. I don't know.
I'm surprised that they gave Rey Mysterio the golden ticket off of Eddie Guerrero's death, and I hated that the most part because I'm like, well, okay, you would think pass on to the family, let him carry a storyline, give him a good push, even though it's sad for Eddie Guerrero to pass, but even use that on his resume. But I feel that they should have done that in WWE with Chavo. But I mean,
they couldn't even let Chavo be Intercontinental. Remember when Chavo tried to win the Intercontinental title for Eddie? They didn't even let Chavo do the Intercontinental title, and they let Ray do at least one world title, and then he would end up getting a second one years later. So,
I mean, guys, let's be honest. I mean, don't you guys see it that maybe Eddie lost his touch of it? I mean, Chavo lost his touch. I mean, seriously. I mean, this is one guy who was in the shelf for a little while. I mean, unless you were at a Superstar show or an NXT show or somewhere or a dark match somewhere. I mean, Eddie was in a match. Other than that, he was never on Raw. He was never on SmackDown. And my point is don't you guys think he's a little rusty? I mean, seriously. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, I have nothing against Chavo at all. Nothing against Chavo. But my thing is just that the dude is a little rusty. Like, let's be honest. I mean, the whole thing with Sin Cara, I mean, seriously, that right there proved my point. It's like, all right, Chavo, here's a job. Go do it. You got to do a lucha show with this, another Mexican.
But when it comes to losing a Hornswoggle all the time, I kind of think you're going to be rusty a bit when you get.
But when you grew up, it's like riding a bike, dude. It's like you go off, ride a bike. You go to another state and you can't ride a bike. It's like, really? That bad?
That said, I do agree with you on the losing touch.
Oh, my bad.
I agree with you on.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying you weren't right. I actually agree. But
I mean,
that is some rust that he could touch up on in TNA at least.
Right.
Or maybe he could touch up on that in TNA.
That's the same thing I see with him right now over in TNA. I mean, seriously, I really do believe that, he's just going to show up and he's going to become another Matt Hardy. All this hype about how he's in TNA and then next, it's like it bombs.
Possibly.
I mean, if you pay attention closely to the product of what TNA gives you, that's what they're trying to do. I mean, I understand that they're battling against WWE, the machine, but it's like...
Not really battling. They're kind of losing a bit. I'm not going to say they can beat WWE.
But you know what I mean, or you know what I'm talking about. It's like they're struggling. They're trying to stay up above water, and it's like they throw something at you, and it's like, if this works, it's like, okay, let me write this. Ta-da! Do you guys like it? Yes or no? Ta-da! It's like, no, we don't. Still the same old bullshit. It's like, okay, let's bring in Hogan. Ta-da! Are we better now? No, we're not.
Actually, some would argue it got worse.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. I'm not going to say TNA does everything right, because they sure don't. I want that clear storyline done with. sick of it.
Right. I mean, all that I'm bringing up. I mean, you got to think about. I mean, you seriously got to think about that. I'm.
Where is Jerry at? Like, what happened to Jeff Jarrett in TNA?
Jeff Jarrett is still stuck in Mexico. Believe it or not, he's still stuck.
From what I'm reading, he may be one of the guys in the Aces and Eights.
I hope not. But
it's sad because TNA is without a doubt, they have good talent. But my thing is when you bring in Eric Bischoff, Hogan, and even Vince Russo. I mean, yeah, these guys.
No, they had Russo almost from the start. So I'm not saying he was good, but unfortunately, they were handicapped for him from the start, basically.
Yeah, it's just when you try to recreate WCW, it's really sad. I mean, my thing is Hogan should retire. Yes, I applaud him for shaping up professional wrestling back in the 80s, and even with the whole NWO. You did your part. You need to retire. Eric Bischoff should have stayed with WWE. He was golden there. Dixie should have never changed the six-sided ring. And, I mean, you got, be easy on the celebrities that you pass through because, obviously, we see celebrities do not work in the wrestling world.
Right.
Well, a lesson that WWE somehow doesn't get anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, WWE with their celebrities, they're kind of choosy with who they get. I mean, if you get Shaquille O'Neal, Snoop Dogg, David Hasselhoff, or even freaking what's his name, Tiger Blood, which I'm calling by his wrestling name, Tiger Blood, Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You beat me to it.
Winning.
So, I mean, yeah, WWE is choosy on who they get and who the fans will enjoy, to where TNA will just grab anybody, even if it's a B-lister.
Yeah.
You guys.
Well, guys, I mean, not to cut you guys off or anything, but, we ran out of time. Seriously, we had some good debates here. We got some good talk about wrestling, the one thing we all love and enjoy. We got Monday Night Raw coming up this Monday night. Just want to let you guys know, be sure to follow WCC on Twitter. And we'll see you guys real soon at WCC Live.
Good night.
Good night y buenas noches, wherever you're at.